in urban regional strategies. So, we have several presenters today. Each of the presenters, except when I didn't will have a few minutes. Let's kind of try to stick to that time frame. So our first presenter will be Eugene Slonimerov, who's affiliated with Northern Geography Free State University and Kansas University. And he will talk about, his talk is titled From Tbilisi to Toronto and Back, the Revanchist City. So, Eugene, the floor is yours.
I
you have 15 minutes.
So my abstract was, I don't think it's in the program, but it talked about how to compare the two cities. I lived in Toronto since 1991, where I moved from Minsk. So this is kind of a me-search, let's say, research kind of a presentation. And let's say it's also a bit of an agenda for fervor, me-search and research for me. And I wanted to talk about housing originally and gentrification in these two cities. I'll explain why it makes sense maybe to compare them slightly more because I've lived in both. So I started with housing, and then I ended up with something different in the end because I do want to talk about Tbilisi more in the end from a further research. So I will end up with this term that I've coined sparification. So we'll get to the sparification in the end, towards the end. And then maybe some optimistic points about what can be done. Okay, so what I wanted to work with the concept of gentrification because let's say I am a victim of gentrification, okay? Let's just say that, yeah? But back and forth. So I came to Georgia in 2002 to work in theater in my past life. And this is 2002, our gentrification just was starting out around 98, 99, 2000. Around 2000, 2001, we had this ban lifted in Toronto on building stuff, on building high, on building in the historical old parts of Toronto. We have a kind of Torontonian here across us. You can interrupt me, correct me if I'm wrong. So for some decades, nothing's been being built in the center of town. These kind of abandoned or underused industrial kind of warehouses, factories, this old hotels, this kind of stuff was being left alone, kind of underused, let's say. Some of these neighborhoods that later got really gentrified were maybe not in this classical sense of gentrification, working class, white working class, right, abandoned factories, but maybe more immigrant, Chinese immigrant families, Polish, Italian, but yes, also some abandoned industrial infrastructure. And so, when we talk about gentrification of Toronto, I liked in the paper with Soso here and Michael wrote about urbanization and gentrification. The thing that I really picked up in your work, guys, is that it's become a strategy. Gentrification becomes a strategy. It's no longer this thing from the 60s, oh, we are just noticing that this thing kind of happens like this, So there's this underdeveloped, abandoned neighborhood, someone comes in, develops it, people are priced out, right? So we kind of noticed it happening, but then it grew into this strategy. Now developers know that they can do that it's kind of a cool thing to do, right? Let's go and convert some factories or let's bring some life to the neighborhood. So by the time I think it started happening in Toronto, it was also more of a strategy, I think, already, conscious effort to do this thing. Maybe I need to slow down a little bit. So I think for definitions we understand. But for gentrification in post-Soviet space, of course, it's different. Again, the strategy thing. I looked at a Romanian scholar. His name is very hard to pronounce. Okay, you can ask. Reification, who wrote about Bucharest a lot and described how how it happens there. And you know, he used terms like slow gentrification, hard gentrification. He described some really hard state-led gentrification and some really brutal themes or scenes, I would say, sorry, of people getting thrown out violently out of these buildings, riot police, this sort of thing. And you know, so I use the term revanchist city. And most of you, maybe most of you are familiar. So the idea is that the bourgeoisie are taking revenge, right, on the lower classes. It happened in Paris or after the revolution. When 1996, Neil Smith used it to talk about New York, about Soho, about this kind of stuff. That gentrification is no longer, again, it's no longer just, oh, this is what happens, you know, if you leave all these buildings abandoned or the neighborhood is in disrepair, this will happen. No, it's a strategy, and revenge, you know, revenge, really, like it's a calculated, bunch of calculated moves on behalf of the capitalists, let's say, the bad guys. They want to do this, they want to, and of course, the end result, and the thing that's really interesting for me is the pricing out of people, right? Interesting also because it's tragic, right? Also, right? So people get priced out of these neighborhoods. Maybe usually top 10% of society in rural cities comes in, and the lower 10% are pushed out because they can't afford to live there anymore. So I've seen, to talk about this, I was going to talk about arts and culture. I was going to talk a little bit about policing, and housing is just the overall thing. It's hard to talk about housing for post-Soviet space. Also, Chelsea talked about this as well. Housing and gentrification. Because, you know, in the classic sense of gentrification, most of us who get priced out are renters, right? And in the post-Soviet space, we still have really high ownership, right? So I just looked at the most recent report, just came out like a week ago or so, the middle class in Georgia. It talks about how there is actually sort of a middle class, and they own them, or just generally, people own their homes here, 88% or something, right? So you can't talk about this in the same way. I talked to, who did you introduce me to? Yes, you were talking to. He's working on Baku and Lavari. He's speaking in the other room.
Oh, that's
Yes, and so I want to cite his research as he has been talking to people in the Lavari district where an Armenian neighborhood was disrupted. People were kind of asked to leave, paid to leave, of course, to build this huge cathedral, right? Semitic cathedral. And okay, so you could say, oh, well, but maybe people benefited out of this. You know, they sold their house to the government. But you know, it gets more complicated because maybe in one house there's 3 or 4 generations, right? Or in one household, and maybe only one guy or 2 people have this house officially to their names. So the families get broken up. So that's the tragedy of this pricing out idea. Right? I really like this meme that's going around the internet. I don't know if you've noticed about a guy moving into a new neighborhood, and then here's a gunshot in the middle of the night, and he goes to check the next day what happened, and it's his neighborhood does this once a month to keep the rent low, right? Or property taxes reasonable. Something like this. So how to counter this pricing out, and should we even counter pricing out? Should we care? Maybe it's not a big enough number of people to get priced out, and even specifically here in Georgia. So why should we counter it? I actually come from a background of conflict studies, peace and conflict, post-war kind of stuff, and policing and criminology. And in conflict studies, we learn about, you know, variables, factors for onset of a new armed conflict, for a civil war, for unrest. And this is where I bring that in, because if you have, so what does that literature tell us? You know, you have a lot of unemployed men, you have, right, unemployment, you have people who can't live comfortably. No, someone writes about toilets, no access to sanitation. Housing is important as a factor in this as well. And we are in a post-conflict country, even though it seems that we have stable peace right now here. Now I think I'd like to talk, so that's kind of the basic. So I interviewed a lot of people here in Tbilisi for my side. Tbilisi, for Toronto, it's more my readings and my own experience. How can we compare Toronto and Tbilisi? So why? I'm going to try to explain. So, now, Richard Florida has claimed that Toronto is a superstar city, right? Like New York, like London. It's not like Chicago, right? It's the fourth now biggest city in North America. So why is it a superstar city? Because it has all this culture and finance, right? It's not the capital of Canada, it's the biggest city, it's the finance capital of Canada, 5 minutes. And but nobody knows this, I think. Nobody knows that it's a superstar city. And I think Tbilisi has this similar vibe. In a way, I think it's a superstar city that not enough people know about it. And in a way, it's kind of nice for us who live here, who like to have a sense of identity with our city. We feel like we have something special, right? Both in Toronto and over there. So what else is similar? In the Soviet Union, Tbilisi had the most theaters. Toronto is the third biggest theater town in the English world. It has many theaters. And it has a great culture. It has the Toronto International Film Festival, so many galleries, and all of this is happening. And again, not enough people know about it, it seems, right? And then and here it's a similar idea. So all this is wonderful, but also it's like, this is like that neighborhood before it gets gentrified, right? And then developers notice, that's kind of cool. It's kind of a superstar place. Now let's buy everything, right? I want to talk about one more about arts and culture. I'll come back about policing. Why did I want to talk about policing as part of gentrification? A lot has been written about this, and this is more of my background in studying the police. So a bigger issue, I think, than gentrification is just deregulation and financialization, basically, of our society, including housing. So what we saw in Toronto in the 90s, just before the big wave of gentrification, is deregulation regarding the police and security. We had oversight apparatuses, gone. Civil oversight gone. The police is competing for budgets, right? The police. We had in 2010 the very famous G20 summit where the police budget was $1 billion. The last one before that was in London. I think it was $50 million, the budget for police over there. Why? So the police, and by the way, there was a big scandal where a huge crowd of people was kettled by the police. They sued the police, and they were guilty anyway for all kinds of irregularities. It seemed they used this event to enrich themselves. And in that way, we can see also signs of gentrification. We see here, though, a different thing, which is taking me to my main points, I think. So when we're done with police reform. So for police reform, here, I saw, so Saakashvili fired all of the police in one day, right, in 2003 or 4, or before, after the revolution. And then they had to go through testing again and try to get their jobs back. Someone just didn't do it because they thought they couldn't do this new non-corrupt police thing. So the people that came in newly to replace them were described as good-looking, for example, young and educated, right? So here we have this kind of a idea that I would like to propose that the people who lost their jobs, they could be maybe put into the category of those who get priced out, right? And gentrification, someone who gets priced out. So again, everyone maybe now would agree that we're very far away from the classic definition of gentrification from the 60s. So I just like to take this priced out idea and then apply it. So that's my further research, of course, but 1 minute. So what can we do with this idea of priced out? We want to identify the population, who gets priced out, how do they get priced out exactly. I think we don't know enough here. In Toronto we know, but I have 1 minute left, so I don't have that time to talk about that. And so my final point will be spartification. Again, housing is not such a huge thing we can talk about in terms of getting priced out here. But we can talk about commercial spaces. And just in the last month, SPAR, the stores, the market, convenience stores, have been replacing these little mom-and-pop stores, right? At crazy speed. Just in the last month, really, I saw on my street a little store shut down. A week later, it's a SPAR. It's the same store almost, right? Chocolate bars, potato chips and cigarettes. But it's SPAR. And around Revanchist, there's like 5 SPARs within like 200 meters of each other. Like Starbucks in Vancouver on the same intersection next to each other. So, can I do 1 more minute about optimism? So on the science of optimism.
What we're taking away the discussion time. So, yeah.
Maybe we can do optimism in the discussion.
No, do your best. Come on.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay. All right. Okay. So lessons from Toronto, for example. A huge Swedish property management company came in and bought out the rights to manage a huge neighborhood. One side of it's already being super gentrified, the low rises. But for high rises, immigrant families and low income, and then this Swedish company comes in, and the neighbors mobilized themselves against them. It took like 2 years, but they fought them, they went on a red strike, and it worked, right? Things worked, and my friend led that movement, or he helped. So we have, for spartification problem, we have something called the Korean Convenience Store Association in Toronto, because most of these little stores are owned by Korean immigrants, and they also organized. And they didn't just organize to not get priced out of their rents, but also they get better prices on Coca-Cola and stuff like that, right? So that's optimism. And then there's this kind of dark optimism, finally, that the rich people, let's say, are understanding maybe that they have to breathe as well, and that the middle class is required, right, for people to buy stuff. So in this way, maybe we could see some kind of a curbing of this divide, and people are talking about inequality so much more in the mainstream today, solving the problems of inequality. And I got a lot of theory from other things, but I didn't get to
I guess what we can do is that first we go through all presentations, and then we kind of engage in a live discussion. We have like 20 time.
Okay.
So thank you so much, Eugene, for your presentation. Yeah, I mean, we kind of started with gentrification, and the next presentation also thinking about the related topic. I mean, I guess it's a broad discussion in these especially these post-Soviet, post-socialist studies.